Hi everyone, this is Sushant from Unity Devs. Welcome to our today's session, part 4, where we will understand how you can utilize maximum concurrency and max field record configurations in batch processing. So guys, if you haven't watched part 1, please watch it because in that video, we covered all the basic understanding required to proceed with the batch processing use cases. So guys, let's get started with the first topic, known as max concurrency. So guys, from the definition only, I think it's clear. So maximum number of threads to start the processing different blocks in parallel. So max or default value is 16. So guys, based on the number of cores I have in my local computer, I have 12 threads. Okay, so to understand this whole phenomena practically, let me allocate some max concurrency. So here you can see batch block size is 1. It means one record will be allocated to one block. Okay, so if there are, let's say, 100 records in the input, okay, so one record will be allocated to one block. It means 100 blocks will be there to process. Okay, so if you click on here, you can see max concurrency is 5. So it means 5 threads will be allocated in a single process while processing it parallelly, because we have given max concurrency as 5. So to understand it more clearly, let me hit this flow and show you. I've added also one delay of 10 seconds so that you can see how it is processing it. And in logger I am printing batch step 1. Payload means that number 1 to 100. So it is basically the array of those records, array of these numbers. Okay, array of 1 to 100. Okay, so this is batch step 1 and this is batch step 2, second batch step. Here also we are printing that number. Okay, that record. So let me hit it from postman. So if I hit it, loading phase completed. So you can see first 5 records has been printed successfully. 1 2 3 4 5, and then 6 7 8 9 10, because we have given max concurrency as 5. So those are 5 threads. So one thread will execute one record from each block at a time. So because one record is allocated to one block, so 5 threads are processing 5 blocks at a time parallelly. Okay, parallelly. So after 20, you will see 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, similarly 26 to 30 you will get now. You can see 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, and so on up to 100. Okay, 31, 32, 33, 34 and 35 up to so on 100 until it completes all the records, until it complete printing all the records. Okay, so guys, that's how this max concurrency works. It is basically the allocation of number of threads to process those records. Okay, okay, so let me stop it and show you one more example where I will give max concurrency as 10. So I have allocated 10 threads this time. Okay, so first time while processing, one thread will execute one record from each block at a time. So because there are 10 threads, so those 10 threads will execute 10 records, one record from each block at a time. Okay, so 10 blocks will be executed parallelly, and or 10 records will be executed parallelly. Okay, so let me show you by deploying it again. So guys, as you can see, application has been deployed successfully. So let me hit the payload. Okay, so loading phase is completed. We got the response of loading phase. So as you can see in the console, 10 records has been printed because this time max concurrency was 10. After that, another 10 records. Okay, 11 to 20. Okay, then 21 to 30 parallelly it is executing them. Okay, now this another next time 31 to 40. Yeah, you can see. So till 100 it will print like this. Okay, so after executing batch step 1 it will execute batch step 2, this one. So in that case I haven't added any delay element, so it will print it as it is. Okay, once it completed the batch step 1. Okay, so you can see. Hmm. So batch step 1 has been executed successfully. Okay, now batch step 2 will start. Okay, so because there is no delay elements, it has executed all the records so fastly. And in the on-complete phase we got the summary of all the records. Okay, successful records 100, failed records 0, loaded records 100. Okay, so that's how it works, guys. So that's how max concurrency works. So guys, moving on to the next topic, which is how we can utilize max failed records field. Okay, how it impacts the batch processing by varying its value. Okay, so guys, from the definition it has been written, Mule has three options for handling a record level error: finish processing, and continue processing until batch job accumulates a maximum number of failed records. This behavior can be controlled by max failed records. So guys, let's say max failed record value is 0. Okay, so it corresponds to finish processing. Let's say if we encounter any error while processing, it will stop processing. It will not pass that particular record to the next batch step if any error encounters, and if max field record is configured as 0. In that case it will stop processing, and in the final on complete phase we will get let's say if we have 10 records and one of the record has failed, so in on complete phase we will get failed records is equal to 1. Okay, and number of loaded records is equal to 10. Okay, so that's how this max concurrency works. So guys, from the definition only I think it's clear. It has been so guys, from the definition it is clear. It has written that Mule has three options for handling a record level error: finish processing, and continue processing until batch job accumulates a maximum number of field records. Okay, so this kind of behavior is controlled by max field records. Okay, so by default if you do not put any value in that max field record configuration, it will by default consider it as 0. So what does it mean? So guys, let's say you have configured it as 0, or by default it is 0. So let's say you have two batch steps, batch step 1 and batch step 2. Okay, and one of the record fails in the batch step 1. Okay, so because this max failed record is configured as 0, it will not pass that failed record to the next batch, next batch step. Okay, and processing will stop there. Okay, so that's how it works, guys. Okay, so now let's say if value is -1, so it corresponds to continue processing. So even if anything fails, okay, it will not stop. It will continue processing all the records, and in the final it will print a summary that these many records has failed, these many records are successfully processed. Okay, and guys, let's say if it has a positive integer, if max failed record let's say is equal to 2, and we have passed 10 records in the input. Okay, so let's say first 5 records has processed successfully, and in sixth records throws the error in batch step, first batch step. Okay, and seventh record again throws the error in first batch step. Okay, but so as you can see, a max failed record count has reached. So next time when another fail will happen, then batch process will stop in that case. So once that max failed record threshold will cross, it will stop processing. Okay, so to understand more, in Anypoint Studio I have configured some use cases. From there you will get some more clarity. Okay, let's go there and understand this. Okay, so guys, let's say if max failed record is 0. Okay, so guys, let's say max failed record is 0 and batch block size is 1. Okay, and in input we have let's say 10 records. Okay, so I will save it and then I will deploy it. So it has deployed successfully. Let me hit it. I click on send. We got the response of loading phase. Okay, and in the console you can see so guys, to understand max failed records, this is the use case I have. So let me deploy this application and then we will see, okay, how it works. So the application has been deployed. So before understanding this use case, let me show you what I have configured. So in the JSON I have configured 1 to 10 records. Okay, array of 10 values. Okay, in that batch job component level I have configured max failed record as 0. Okay, batch block size is 1. It means one record will be allocated to one block, so there will be 10 blocks. Okay. After that I have one condition. So this is the logger where I am printing these values. Okay, in this condition I have a condition where if payload is equal to 2 or payload is equal to 3, then we are converting string to a number, which is false. So this thing will throw us the error. Okay, and we will see if we are getting any error, how it will work. Okay, if max concurrency is 0. Okay, and this is the wait of 10 seconds I have added to check with the console more slowly. Okay, and this is the next batch step. The same thing I'm doing, I'm printing those values by appending this payload, and the prefix is batch step to string. Okay, so guys, so let me hit this flow. So I've sent the request. Okay, so you can see we got the error. Why? Because we are trying to convert a string to a number in case when payload was equal to 2 or when payload was equal to 3, and this time max failed record is 0. So let's see the final output. Okay guys, so we got the final result. You can see, so here you can see loaded records are 10, total records were 10, but failed record is 1 and successful record is 0. Okay, so processed records are those records which has passed through both these batch steps, but because those two records failed in the batch step 1 only, it didn't process any records. into the other batch steps. So that's why we got uh, processed records 0, successful record 0, failed record only 1. Okay, so only one record has failed and it has stopped processing those records, the remaining ones. Okay, so it has finished processing without processed those records basically. Okay, so guys, let's understand what if max failed is value is -1. Let me save it. So the our application has been deployed and now I will hit it. So loading phase completed, we got the response of loading phase. Again we got the error, but this time, okay, this time you will see one behavior. So guys, you can see successful records 8, failed records 2, loaded records 10. So there were 2 failed records, but even though it processed the remaining ones. Okay, so all 10 are processed, successful are 8, failed are 2, loaded are 10. So even though the failures happened, but it didn't stop batch process from stopping. Okay, so batch process continued processing the remaining ones. So that's why in the final we got 8 successful records, 2 failed records, and the loaded records were 10. Okay, so that's why we, in such cases, we used to configure max failed record as 1. Okay, so what if max failed record has a positive integer value? Let's say if it is what I can say 1. Okay, let me save it. Okay, so what does it mean? If failed records count is 1, then there is no issue. It will process the remaining records, those remaining 9 records. But if these failed records count will cross this value 1, let's say if failed record count previously, let's say if it is 1 and next time another failed happened, so in that case it will stop processing. Okay, it will stop processing. So let me show you. So in this case I have configured this when payload is equal to 2, we are trying to convert string into the number. In payload equal to 3, we are again trying to convert string into a number. So we have 2 failures, but here we have configured only 1 failure. So it will cross this threshold. So let me show you, if it crosses this threshold, what will be the summary of records we will get. Okay, so our application has been deployed. Let me hit this. Loading phase is done. So as expected, we got errors. Okay, and in console, let's see the on-complete phase summary. So you can see these errors. Okay guys, so you can see clearly. Okay, total records were 10, failed records were 2, loaded records were 10, successful records 0. Okay, why 0? Because it has exceeded this value, max failed record value, it has exceeded. Okay, that's why there is no record that was successful. Okay, so let's say if its value is only let's say this time if we change this condition from 3 to only 2, so this time only one failure will happen. So this time it will not cross the max failed record threshold which we have provided. Okay, it will not cross. So let's see the summary of on-complete phase. What will be the summary of on-complete phase in this case? Okay, so application has been deployed. If I hit it, We got the loading phase response. Okay, now let's see. So guys, as you can see in the onComplete phase, loaded records were 10. Okay, failed record is 1, successful records are 9. So it didn't stop that batch process even though one failure happened, because we didn't cross that max failed record threshold value, which was 1. Okay, so that's why we got only one failure, and the remaining records were processed successfully, all those 9 records. Okay, so guys, I hope you understood this session. Okay, so in an upcoming sessions we will understand more on max age and time unit parameters. Thank you everyone, bye, see you soon.